is today, which we originally thought would have taken far longer for us to get to. So there were environmental circumstances which fast-tracked the growth of IPL to what it is today, and this is one of the contributing factors. Suddenly we all left craving for more. Hey, what is this T20? I like it. I want to see it. It started to get in more interested women. See, all of you are here, except for the 5 of you who put your hand up. The children, the family, everybody was suddenly interested because it was a 3-hour movie and you got the remote back faster. The interesting part about it was like a carnival, and South Africa demonstrated that better than anyone else. So what we had was a young, vibrant India who had won the T20, a format which attracted the interest and captured the fancy of many of Indian audience who had never got to see anything like this. Suddenly Indians were smashing the ball. We were not playing and taking those 1s and 2s. Suddenly it was boundaries and raining boundaries and 6s. The context of the organization that I come from, which is the BCCI, we are an important player in world cricket, to say the least. We are blessed with a country of 1 billion plus who follow the sport as if it is their life depends on it. People don't realize it's a sport, but we are happy in a way because that's what helps the economics of the world cricket go around very, very smoothly. We take everything, all this criticism of India's debacle, etc., with a pinch of salt, not so much as the performance itself, but the comments and the bad jibes, etc., that come only because we believe these comments will come if you are so emotionally attached to something. Remember the boyfriend or the girlfriend that you hated? Think about it. I'll give you a minute. That's the sport. That's the emotion that drives the sport. After World Cup win, we were all kings. I think each of them could have been an emperor. Within 4 months, they are out in the streets. Thankfully, Indians have matured, or at least Anna Hazare has saved us from a little more criticism that would have come the way of Indian cricketers. A few years ago, these cricketers' house would have been ransacked, set on fire, effigies burnt, all of that would have happened. But that is the emotion, and we got to appreciate the human element behind the sport or behind the brand, the passion that which these guys approach the game. The environment, the external environment is the context that I need to set is it was a business that was doing well. The entertainment economy was growing at roughly about 20% at that time. When I say entertainment economy, it was movies, which was growing. Every movie that was. Remember that period when Yashraj movies used to release movies as out of fashion? Every week, these Neil and Nikki types of movies which used to come. Remember? So the entertainment economy, number of television channels. Every day you had to check your remote again because there were 3 new channels which were launched. There was movie business which was blossoming. There was software content which was growing abundantly. The advertising market was very, very vibrant, and the macroeconomic scenario was growing at 8%, and that was 8% more than what the rest of the world was growing at. We were flying, and that's an important context to pre-IPL. But there were certain constraints that we faced with. You look at the sports business around the world. When I say America and sports, what comes to your mind? Who said football? Super Bowl. Okay. Okay. When I say England and sport, rugby, football. Okay. You have many adjectives or many names that come to your mind when I say sport in a specific country. But in India, when I say sport, there is one man which towers above everything else. And that's a bittersweet truth. It was fantastic for one guy to tower over everything else in sport, whereas in every other country, sport meant an NBA or an NFL or a Champions League or a football or a Wimbledon or whatever else as a sporting event or a format, and there were individual players who were stars, but none greater than Sachin Tendulkar in terms of his equivalent in India to what he was in, what the other sports persons were in their respective fields. So this man was towering above everything else, which was an opportunity in disguise for us and a threat in waiting, rather I should say. What the 2007 World Cup did, again contextualize it, is it showed a lot of Indians that there is cricket without Sachin and we can win without Sachin. Remember the days? I don't know. You will remember because you've been watching it from 3 years. When Sachin got out, you switch off the TV and went. Or whatever, you started to wear your nappies or whatever. We were so aghast that if Sachin gets out, the rest of the team will fold in 5 runs. Now that is true of Amit Mishra, but we live in a different world. Today it's a different context. We believe anybody who goes in has the opportunity or has the potential to save a game or win a game for us. And that got established in 2007 at the T20 World Cup when we played without them. But here was an opportunity. Here was this gigantic mountain who represented the sport in India. I'm not talking cricket, what sport meant in India. And all he needs to say is one word and then it became national headline news. That happens even today. And that's a harsh reality and a pleasant reality for all of us. Whereas the global sporting industry was growing at a humongous number. You know, it was worth a lot. It was 115 billion odd in 2007 and it has only grown. The context of where sports stood compared to where we were in India. And it was only boosted by marquee events. Every year there was an Olympics or a FIFA World Cup or any big event. The economy of that country and overall advertising revenue in the geography goes. There are 3 big events in the world as they call it. FIFA World Cup, Olympics and the US elections. All 3 of them add a large amount of kitty to the advertising dollars. And this is important for you to understand contextually because those are what you will tend to call as outliers at some point in time because there's an exceptional growth that happens in that year. So as I said, every big event, suddenly the economy became larger and larger. Whereas if you look at the sponsorship structure itself, the advertising market or the revenue place for this one, is a Manu fan, is it? Huh? You had significant percentage of revenues that came from all formats, which is sponsorship, merchandising, media rights, and gate revenues. Gate revenue was obviously the biggest. Gate revenue meant how much you pay for your tickets and the total ticket revenue. Any guesses how much is the cost of a corporate box for a 7-match series in say Calcutta? We'll talk about Calcutta. For IPL, say 40 lakhs for a 20-seater box. 7 matches, 20-seater box is 40 lakhs. Okay. Any other guesses? 5 crores. Okay.
5 crores for 10 years, I think.
5 crores for 10 years. Okay. 15 lakhs per match. Total of 69 lakhs. 16 lakhs for 7 matches. That's 2 lakhs match. Okay. Roughly whatever. 2.2 lakhs. Okay. Do you know how much was the price of a corporate box? Again, a 20-seater at Lord's for the India-England test match. Chale, tukka lagao yaar. 150 pounds for sorry? 5,000 pounds. Okay.
30 lakhs.
30 lakhs. Okay. Okay, guys, it's important that you get your head around these kind of things if you're serious about sports marketing at some point in time, because you need to know what drives the business. It's like basic understanding of how large is the soaps category or the telecom business or the detergent category or insurance business or whatever else. This is as fundamental to sports as the category and the growth drivers for the other businesses. Anyway, the point I'm making is it costs a lot of money, and none of you were anywhere close to that 150 pound mark that he said. You're still a Man U fan. He kicked you. He's a Man U fan. Okay, okay.
Like that. Okay.
So the cost of a corporate box is possibly 1/10 or 1/20th of what you get in a market like England or any other sporting event. Manchester United makes roughly $3 million every game on ticket revenues. $3 million every game. Knight Riders will possibly make it. To us Joy yesterday, no? Whenever he came. Huh? Knight Riders makes roughly about $4 million or $5 million for the season. So that's the comparison. So 7 matches of Manchester United will get you 21 million to $3 or $4 million for an IPL game. So you get a sense of where we are on numbers. In India or in cricket, to speak of the sport, close to 97% or 96% of the total revenue comes from television rights. Rest of it is marginal. Broadcast money is the only money that comes from into the sport, as in the largest chunk of money that comes into the sport. Ticket revenue is very insignificant in most parts of the world except in England, and sponsorship money is insignificant in most of the parts. Because television revenue is the highest, every country wants India to come and play against them, because they get the revenues when it plays. So we being a charitable organization, we go and play for other countries and then get blamed by you all saying we are playing more and more cricket. See, this is what happens. Just because we went out to do some charity for the other guys. The point is we have to fix some of the tournaments, because we do visit and we are called on at times to go and play in some countries because they need a boost of cricketing revenues and stuff like that. So this was a big contrast for us. Cricket was 90% dependent on one source of revenue. If you were running a business and 95% of your business is coming from one source of revenue, you will certainly not be comfortable, because your dependency on that source is so high that you will want to build your other allied sources of income. So that's exactly what other sports have done, and done very, very well. And what we needed to do was try and see whether there's an opportunity like that exists in India today. And I'm very, very happy with where we are with IPL. I don't know how many of you had the opportunity to read the Economic Times today. Last season we started the trading cards. I don't know if you guys know of trading cards. Yeah, the trading cards is what we grew up as kids when we were growing up, not watching TV. We all used to exchange cards and play with those cards. As of the statistics that the media has put out, I don't believe the media, but as the statistics the rights owners have put out, they have sold so far 5 million cards in 1 year's time. And it is just starting, and it's just 1 year old. So suddenly you'll start to realize this kind of revenue streams will start to come in very, very aggressively. Whereas the media and entertainment industry, I gave you a contrast of sports industry, and the media and entertainment industry was worth 1.7 trillion. Okay, don't ask me how many zeros are in that, I can't count. It is huge. It's basically 117 billion to 1.7 trillion. The entertainment to the sports business at a global level. But if you look at cricket, was insignificant. It was less than $1 billion of annual revenue globally, all forms, and 90% of that was dependent on, possibly 80% of that was dependent at a global level on one source of revenue. That was insignificant. So here was the magic potion. Sports plus entertainment, hey, that could be the trick. That could kind of work well. Is there a trick there? Is there something that we can get? Like, she believes there's too much of cricket that is being telecast, but it's okay to have so many movies, right? So why don't we combine both? Why don't we combine the entertainment with sport, so that we get people like her to watch some part of cricket and believe that they are watching a movie? That was the genesis of the sport, or genesis of what we all believe as IPL. And we believe India with the second largest movie industry, and possibly the IPL. That's how IPL was born, as something which was very strategically thought through in terms of context, in terms of, is she awake or she's going to sleep? You only. You want chai? No, not you, Baba. She's looking behind. You only. Chai mangalu? Okay. So this is the birth of IPL and the context behind it. So before I proceed any further, I want you guys to ask me any questions that you may have, discussions, suggestions that you may have, and till now on the context of birth of IPL. I'll explain to you how the rest of the structure works. In accelerating the definitely it would have started in 2008, but the level of success that we could have enjoyed would have been further delayed. So it sets the context. As I said, there are some strong, compelling, rational things, which is entertainment economy, GDP, all of that growing, India's strength, which is inherent to your own advantage, and the global economy, how large it is, and contrast it with where we are as India, the only rememberable sporting moment being Indian win. All of that were the internal, external context and the business context. So these were softer fields which helped you accelerate.
How much did the ICL influence BCCI to come up?
What's that?
The ICL, the Indian Cricket League.
What's that?
Okay, you had a question. Not you, the people behind you. Wake up. Acha, both of you, please come and sit here. Both of you. I can't see the two of you and I don't know where your hand is. Come. Sit right in the middle. Huh? No problem. Chal aaja meri maa, tum bhi unnamed league. More questions? Any more questions?
So you listed down few of the elements of this. It was a devised strategy from BCCI or it was the brainchild of Lalit Modi?
Lalit was a part of the BCCI. It's like saying you work for an organization but you don't work for the organization. There's no taking away from the fact that there is a lot of energy that went in and the structuring of the league, etc. But it requires the organization and the federation to give you that liberty to go out and say, do it. You cannot disassociate the organization which has helped you fund it, which has helped you create it, which has helped you provide the players, which has the entire lifeline of the domestic structures in place, and introduce the clauses. So I'll talk to you about the clauses why IPL is the way it is, why it is not an English Premier League, for example, where Arsenal doesn't have an English player. In fact, Arsenal doesn't have a player.
When you thought of Indian Premier League, the domestic thing was already existing.
That's right.
So why did you go for IPL instead of taking over the domestic thing and combining that with entertainment?
That would have been a far more uphill task for you to do. It's like saying when you launch an extension or a new brand, why can't you launch everything under surf? Why do you need a wheel and whatever detergents that they have, Sunlight and whatever else? There is an advantage of having launching afresh and keeping the earlier format exactly as it is, but the earlier format will never play in this format. So there will never be a Ranji Trophy of T20. So you needed a fresh creation of sorts. You only see again. You're turning your face. So sweetly, Shyas, what did I? You haven't done anything. That's why I'm asking you. You have no questions. Busy sleeping. Huh? Well done. Okay. Anyone on the birth of IPL? Any questions so far? Otherwise, I'll move to the next section. That I will tell CD to call the person who ran that, he will answer you. Why do you think Ahmedabad has dropped in ratings this year? Because I am Bangalore did well. See? What kind of response is it? You can't answer that, nah? Huh? Because you're not an expert in that, nahi hai, because you're not running that.
From the Ranji Games was to get everyone a platform to perform and get selected for the Indian cricket team to represent the nation. The IPL motive looks more like making money rather than providing facilities and letting them come.
Is that your perception, media reports, or what? Huh?
That is something from the initial
That is from your?
the initial introduction for IPL.
Where have I ever spoken about the money? I just said it's the opportunity that exists. But there was a young breed of India. You need to revitalize the economy. But money is important. I'll come and address your questions in the business model of IPL and why the popular perception about IPL being money is not necessarily true. Huh? How many gujjus here? Okay. The business model of IPL was very, very simple. There is media rights, there is franchisee revenue, and there is sponsorship. That's the revenue sources for IPL. To address some part of your question, once you're finished with your message to her, I will talk. Okay. The business model of IPL is we need to do